So here is the second example on rearranging formula, and it's a good deal more difficult than the last one. We'll begin again, as we always do, by writing out the problem. And the equation that we begin with is m equals n minus 2pq over 3r plus 4s. And the first step, we talked about this in the notes earlier, the first step is to highlight the letter that you want to get on its own, and it's going to be P. So just write that down somewhere so that you remember what letter it is that you want to get on its own. Now when we look at this equation, it's a little bit different from the last example, because the first thing that I would like you to notice about it is the fact that it has a fraction. Okay, this piece, n minus 2pq over 3r, is a fraction. And we said the way to handle a fraction is to multiply everything that isn't inside parentheses, and there's nothing at all inside parentheses in this case. So multiply everything here in this problem by the bottom of the fraction, by 3r. Now, when we're doing this, we treat the fraction as one entity. Okay, so this whole thing, n minus 2pq over 3r, for the purposes of this line, we're considering that just to be one thing. And then the 4s we're also going to multiply by 3r. Okay, so that gives us a new line. And remember, when we multiply variables together, if they're different variables, then we just write them together. So 3r, m times 3r is going to be 3mr. You can write it as 3rm if you like, but I usually like to write it in alphabetical order when there are different variables. Now remember this piece. When we multiply a fraction, this entire fraction, by its own bottom, so we're multiplying this entire fraction by its own denominator, what we get left with, the bottom and the 3r on the top and the bottom will cancel out, and what we are left with is just the top of the fraction, so n minus 2pq. Okay? Because we're multiplying the whole thing by the denominator actually disappears, and we're just left with the top, n minus 2pq. Okay, and then over here we have plus 4s times 3r. So we're multiplying positive 4s by positive 3r, plus, we're going to be plus 3 times 4 is 12, and s times r, if you write it in alphabetical order, that's rs. Okay. So we've got rid of the fraction. That was our first objective. The first thing that we had to accomplish was to get rid of the fraction. And now we think again about what it is we are trying to get on its own. And remember, it's p. Okay, we are trying to get the p on its own. So what we'll do here, this is the bit that has the p in it. Okay, this is the bit negative 2pq. This is the bit that has the p in it. We want this piece on its own on one side of the equal sign, and everything else should be moved over to the other side of the equal sign. So that would mean 3mr is okay, because it's on the opposite side of the p, but we're going to have to move both the n across, and the 12rs is also going to have to move across. Okay, and if we move those two across, we'll simply be left with the negative 2pq on its own on the right. And that's what we want. We want the piece that has the p to be on its own. So as we look at this, we're now going to have, the next line is going to be 3mr. The n is changing sides. The n is going from the right hand side of the equal sign over to the left. And remember, if we change sides, we change signs. Okay? So the n is going to come across. It was positive n, it comes across, it becomes negative n. And the 12rs comes across as well. It was positive 12rs, it comes across, it becomes negative 12rs. And that leaves us with negative 2pq as the only thing that's going to be left on the right hand side. Okay? Negative 2pq. Okay, now we're nearly finished. The piece that has the p in it is on its own. The last step, if you remember, is to divide everything here by whatever is attached to the p. The p is the letter that we want on its own. So we're going to divide everything here in this equation by negative 2q. Okay? Whatever is attached to the p. Negative 2q. Okay? And we can do it all at once. Negative 2q. And if we do it that way, the answer comes out fairly quickly, because the negative 2 will cancel over here, and the p will cancel over, the q will cancel over there. Okay, so that leaves us with just the p on this side, and on the other side we can write this exactly as it is. We don't need to do anything else, because we've accomplished our first goal, which was to get our main goal, which was to get p on its own. Okay, so that is one version of the answer. Okay, once p is on its own, that's one version of the answer, which is completely fine. There's nothing wrong with leaving your answer in this form. It's absolutely correct. The other thing that we could do, though, was we could go back. Let me just highlight this line here. We could go back to that line. Let's write it out. 3mr equals n minus 2pq plus 12rs. And again, move things from, move the terms that don't include a p. I'm sorry, just having a little bit of trouble here with my mouse. Move the terms that don't have a p across, so this one and this one, we're going to move each of those across. Okay, so that would give you 3mr, move the n across, minus n, move the 12rs across, becomes minus 12rs is equal to minus 2pq. Now we did have this before, okay? We did have this before. If you look up here, before we divided, that was exactly the line that we had before, okay? And when we divided initially, we just divided the entire left-hand side all as one term. We just divided the entire side all at once. What I'm going to do here, a little bit different, and I apologize for scrolling up and down, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to divide each of these pieces individually. Okay, so we're still going to divide by whatever is attached to the p, that's negative 2q. And we're going to do something similar over here, except we're going to do it all individually. We're going to divide each of these individual terms by negative 2q. So you have two options. You can divide the entire side all at once, or you can divide each of the individual pieces. Now let's see how this goes. Well, the minus 2 and the q obviously will cancel out again. Okay, so the minus 2 and the q will cancel out again, and that leaves us with the p. So we've got p on its own. Now, over here we have 3mr over minus 2q. So let's simplify it if we can. We've got a plus on top, a minus on the bottom. A plus divided by a minus is a minus. So that's 3mr over 2q. The next term is minus n over minus 2q. A minus over a minus is a plus. So plus n over 2q. And the last term, negative 12rs over negative 2q. A minus over a minus is a plus, so it's a plus again. 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then we have rs, excuse me, we divided the numbers already. 12 divided by 2 is 6. rs, so all we're left with on the bottom is q. So now here is another way of writing p on its own. So I don't know if I can squeeze them both into this. Let's see if I can make the screen a little bit smaller and get them both in here for you. And then we've got our two answers. In fact, they're the same answer, they're just written in different forms. And either one of them is correct. In the top one, we've divided the entire side by 2q. In the bottom version, we've divided each of the individual terms by 2q. But the value is the same, and those answers count equally well. Okay, this one was a little bit more complicated. Take your time, look through it a few times, and remember there are two different ways contained here of reaching a solution for this problem. So if you understand one, that's fine. And it's great if you can understand the second version as well. Okay, thank you.